How's your pussycat doing?
That damn cat is trying my last every will and patience. I had to get a spray bottle of water. He's eating the plants. He's jumping on me when I want to sleep. Honestly, I'm giving him 6 more months. And then after that, if y'all need a cat, holler at me.
Wow. You're evil. You're evil.
I'm not evil. I'm just real. I'm just keeping it real.
I'm going to take Oliver home.
You'll take him home? All right.
I'm going to take him home.
Can you take him home tonight?
Wow. You're...
Dysh. Dysh.
Hey, y'all. It's Onika.
And J.R.
And you are dishing with DaintyDysh. How you doing, J.R.?
I'm doing good now, but I had a really rough day yesterday.
Oh, no. Tell me all about it.
Like, you really care.
I'm just super nosy. I just want to know, like...
Oh, my goodness. It was like it was a flashback to, like, maybe, like, 2 years ago when I had the 9 to 5 and I was on that grind.
Yeah.
I had, like, an hour commute out to a job site, and then I worked, like, 8.5 hours, and I had a 2-hour commute back. And it just brought me back to that time. And then on top of that, I went to Costco.
Oh, this is like one of those stories. Like, yeah, so I was at work, then after work I went to the Costco, you know, and like, so you're at the Costco.
Oh my goodness, yes, I was at the Costco, and I had to deal with Costco.
I was at the Costco and I had to deal with Costco. That says it all.
You know, and the thing is, like, I can do Costco once a year and it would last. I get everything I need and I'm done.
Like Christmas.
Like, yeah.
Like Christmas.
Like,
yeah. Once a year. That's it.
Once a year. That's it. And so then I get home and it was like flashback. No food, no dinner. Now, this was my fault this time because, you know, well, I'm responsible for eating for myself. But it just was a flashback. It was like, oh, my gosh, now I'm home. There's no dinner. There's no food. And I was just in a mood. And then I think I ended up talking to you.
Yeah.
And I was just in a complete, just a mood.
And I lifted your spirit.
No, you didn't.
I didn't?
No, you kind of
I did.
You kind of shit in my parade.
Oh, that's more sounds like me.
And then, but then my mom came by and she's like, hey, do you want to order takeout? And I was like, oh my goodness,
Yay,
takeout. But the only thing that would have made
life.
that better would have been a slushie. Like, if I had a slushie at that moment, like, my life would have been...
Oh my gosh, let me talk about this. So I was just at home today writing, doing my thing. Oliver was kind of getting on my nerves. So I said, let me go take a walk. And my mind told me, funny enough, I want a slushie.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. So I go to the Becker's across the street from me and I ask Billy, which is the guy that works at the Becker's, because you know I have to know everybody's name. So Billy's like, oh, there's a 7-Eleven on like College and like Bloor or something like that. I was just like, I got tokens in my pocket, like, and I really want this slushie. I want to take this trip. Now, meanwhile, I don't realize there's a guy standing like a couple feet away, this like older white gentleman, listening to our entire conversation. So he chimes in. He's like, hey, there's a slushie place by the Esso there on Parliament. Why don't you head down that way?
Yes.
And I'm like, you know what? Normally, I'd be a little bit like, why are you all in my mouth? But because I walked down to Parliament and lo and behold, I got a cherry slushie. Thank you, nosy white man at the Becker's. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. But you know what's been a little bit messy like a slushie and not tasting so sweet? The words coming out of Mr. Kanye West's mouth.
Oh, are we going to do this?
We're going to talk about this. This is, I think, an important conversation to have. Now, I want you to give me the text. I've seen everything with you. I watched the video. I've seen the tweets, you know, but I want to get the exact timeline so I make sure what I'm about to say isn't misconstrued or taken in any kind of way.
So I think where we are right now, we saw the the Charlemagne and him, the interview where they're walking through the forest.
They're walking through his 300 acres.
Yeah, that was so...
We only wanted 40 acres. We only asked for 40 and a mule, but he got 300.
Yeah,
so
he's
doing
doing all right.
well. He's doing prosperous. Black prosperity.
And there was the series of tweets that came out over like the 10 days that we ended up going through just because
the video with the interview with Charlemagne was in April.
Yeah, but we just happened. I guess it was released after. It was recorded before the tweets were released.
Before the tweets were released.
Yeah. So yeah. We'll go with that. We'll go with that video, then the tweets for the timeline, and then the TMZ.
Oh my gosh.
The TMZ.
Now.
No, neither of us have TVs, so we had to like come together and watch this on a laptop. So this was it made it better.
And I'm not like, I should be more in the world, I know, but I kind of get in my head. So I didn't know all of this was going on until JR brought it up to me. So I'm looking at this not from a lens of this is a celebrity that is like wilding out. I'm looking at it like, this dude's got mental health issues. Like, let me look at it from I actually think this guy might be bipolar.
I remember, yeah, because as we were watching the TMZ video, because that's what we watched first. No, we did the tweets first, and then we watched the TMZ video. And as I'm reading the tweets, you're cooking, and you're not like really like paying me no mind to as I'm reading the tweets. You're just kind of like nodding your head and just kept going about your business. And then we sat down, we watched the TMZ interview, and that's going by, and I'm just into it. I'm just completely into it, like a fan, I guess. And you're just sitting there, and then
and I'm like, wait for it, and then
the rant started.
Kanye just turned to the staff at TMZ and started talking about being addicted to opioids, how he had liposuction, and that because he didn't want to be fat for his audience, and like he just went off.
And in that moment, I was like, "Wait a minute, he's manic."
Sounds familiar. Looks familiar.
I was like, "He's manic." Like, what's going? Does anyone not realize that he's manic right now?
Honestly, and when you were reading the tweets, I kept asking you, I said, is that one after the next after the next? Because if so, he's having rapid cycling thoughts. Like, he basically has no brain filter at this point, and every thought he has, he needs to get out of his mouth immediately.
And it was just like, I remembered experiencing these things with you. Just like, it was, so like I was in there, I was just like, I'm like, wait a minute, why is he not medicated? Why is no one
and he said that
aside and
medicate him. He said that he had taken one pill that day and one like another day, so he's not only unmedicated, he's self-medicating at that point.
Yeah, I guess
he's self-medicating, choosing the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, and the how. He's going to take medication that was prescribed by a doctor. Mm-hmm. Right? So I the whole thing. I mean, let's go back to the Charlemagne interview.
Yeah,
I saw that and he seemed okay.
Yeah,
he seemed all right.
Quite rational, but he did say during the course of that interview that he was medicated, and you know, he didn't divulge any other information, but it did seem like he was quite calm and lucid still, you know.
Kanye,
like the same way I would say you're still Onika, like, you know, but definitely toned down a bit. And I guess something that you've always said is that when you're medicated, you feel like your creativity is
it stifles your creativity.
And I mean, I think he kind of mentions that at some point. I don't remember what
he alludes
point.
to it. Yeah,
he alludes to it in one of the.
He calls it an imperfect solution. Is what he called taking medication, and I have to agree with him, just based on a person who's been taking meds for over a decade now. When you have a mental health condition, it's a disease of the mind. And there are still people out there in the world, you know, thank God for them, that are studying the brain and trying to figure out how these conditions come about and how to cure these conditions, just like any other disease you try to cure. But, you know, if you don't know the cure or the cause, if you don't know the cause, how can you come up with a cure? So we're guinea pigs, and we're fed this medication to sedate us and subdue us. And when you're an artist like Kanye West, who depends on his creativity for his livelihood, you know, depends on that very, very intelligent, genius-like brain of his to develop his fashion line or his music or, you know, whatever it is he's doing at the time, and you give him medication that subdues that dampens that down, you know, there's going to be a great rebellion in regards to wanting to take it. And I think that's what we saw him talking about on the TMZ interview, this rebellion that a lot of people who take medication go through. I've gone through it. You know, where I'm thinking I'm straight, or I'm thinking I don't need this stuff. This isn't going to make me better. I could heal myself. My mind will heal itself. And I just stopped taking my meds, and bing, bang, boom, manic episode.
Yeah. I mean, I know you've said that you feel like your creativity gets stunted, but I don't agree. Like, just being someone who's been around you when you've been manic and been in that creative state, and don't get me wrong, you throw out ideas like
spit bars
like a mile a minute. Like, I mean,
you can't keep up.
Like, even that our little, you know, cheat sheet for the show, like that we created.
That was created when I was manic.
Manic, like that was kind of like, okay, well, all right, but at the same time, we have never used that cheat sheet. We've still come up with new, fresh ideas every week. So I mean, I don't know what.
I think what artists in general and creatives don't realize is being manic is like this euphoric. It's like a euphoric high. Like you're fearless, and you're, as Kanye West would say, brave. And you think you're having breakthroughs instead of having a breakdown, which is what he calls his situation, a breakthrough. You know, colors are brighter. You run faster. You sing better. You sing better. Your voice is louder. You feel like a superhero, which is what he talks about, that superhero feeling. You feel like a superhero, and you could do anything and be anything and say anything. You know, and when that all gets taken away from you.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you thought you could sing like, you know, Whitney Houston, no, you still sounded like
shit.
Cats
Like scratching cats.
You know, when you thought you were a superhero outside, you know, saving people, no, you were just running around
but the reality, that was the reality, but my perception at that time, because remember, you always say perception versus reality. What I perceived to be real was not real. Do you know what I mean? So I know the creative part of me right now is slowed down exponentially compared to what I could do when I have a manic episode. I call it my bipolar opposite. And I miss my bipolar opposite sometimes. When I get writer's block, for instance, I'm like, damn, I wish I was manic right now, because I'd be able to pump this out in 5 minutes.
Is it more so that you just don't care about your other responsibilities? That's all it seems like to me. It's just you just don't care about the other responsibilities, so therefore
and
you have
just
more
create.
time. You just have time to create.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that, but it's not that.
Because that's all. This comes after being someone who's been around you through those stages. The only difference is that in that manic state, when it comes to creativity and work, it's, if you're interested in it and it's something that you want to do, you're giving it 100% of 3 people, you know, and that's it. Nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Right. So as opposed to right now, you're thinking, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm a writer, but you know what? I still got to pay rent.
I have a job.
So I have to have a job to put food in my fridge, and I gotta do these other things. So I mean, which one is really the most beneficial?
Like, honestly,
I don't know.
I feel like it's almost like being in a very childlike state where you go back to a place where you don't have any responsibilities but playing. And what did I do as a child when I wanted to play? I wrote stories. What did Kanye West probably do as a child when he was playing? He wrote music, you know, or he created designs for his fashion. You know, that's what he did. I remember he said in the interview with Charlamagne, he used to draw swooshes, the Nike swooshes, when he was younger. What did you do as a child when you had no responsibility other than being a child? And that's what it feels like. Mania feels like to me. It's like reverting back to childhood, where you don't know the stove is hot until you touch it, right? And there's no one around because you're an adult to slap your hand to tell you not to do it. And even if they did, you wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
You know, we saw Kanye in the TMZ interview, just being disruptive and being like, 1 minute he was very adamant about his beliefs and what he was standing for, but the minute that young man reprimanded him and said he was so concerned about how disappointed he was in him and wanting him to love him and like him, you're like a child. You're like a little girl and a little boy.
That moment reminded me of just
how many moments have you and I had like that?
Just like that, where and it's just like
where's it go, Onika, man? You got to get your life together, girl. You got to just like come on, girl,
or just different levels where it's like that, or where it's just like a completely go off,
like
or
just your head blows up, like just your hair just pops off. You're just like screaming,
or
and you're like,
or it's just like, you know what? Forget
about it. Like I throw up my hands. I'm done with you. I'm done. I'm not doing this. Yeah. Like you go through when you're around someone with mental health issues. And funny enough, you know, even though Kanye did say in the interview with Charlamagne that he had, you know, he was hospitalized, he never revealed what condition they said he might have had. So at this point, I'm only taking a guess based on my experience. Let's just make that very clear. You know, I'm taking a guess based on what I've experienced. I'm seeing so much of myself in what Kanye West is going through right now that like I wonder, you know, who is on his side? Does he have a bunch of yes men and women around him? Like I know when it comes to my mental health, it took 10 years for my family really to acknowledge me in that way, to say, and some of them still don't. Some of them still won't say I'm bipolar. You just have to do A, B, C, D things, Onika, and you'll be fine. You know, some of them still don't understand what being bipolar means. Like they're not like you, how you and I, with this podcast, talking to each other on a daily basis, you seeing me go through little bursts of episodes, you know, over the years, especially, you know, after we reconnected and stuff. Like your family is supposed to be your support system, right? And if they don't understand what you're going through, you feel all alone. Like, so I can only imagine what he's feeling like now, because it's kind of like this, like, shoo, like, oh, don't worry about him. He's okay. You know, he just said this and this because of A, B, C, D reasons, but just stand there and be quiet and don't say anything, Kanye. Don't say anything else. Because remember that tweet from his wife when he said he loved Trump. She's like, he said, my wife told me to come back on here and say this, and this, because they're more concerned about what it's looking like. Right?
It's the optics.
It's the optics. Yeah. And even families that don't need to be concerned about optics, like my family, are concerned about optics. You know what I mean? We're nobody special. But it's the optics. It's how it's looking to the outside world, to the people that you are influencing or that influence you. It's how that it looks to them. Because this is a great influencer of ours, of our generation.
Oh yeah, favorite rapper.
You know what I mean? Favorite rapper for you. I like him. I like his wacky antics, and I think now I know why. Because I see myself in him. He's one of my people. So, you know, I dig him.
Yeah, him and J. Cole, favorite rappers.
Favorite rappers?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you like J. Cole's new album.
We're not discussing.
We're not J. Cole.
On this podcast.
Yeah. So. Yeah, he's one of the great influencers. So to see him in this state right now, I think it could be very jarring for people, but it's also giving people an opportunity to like pick at the situation. I
don't think people really realize what's going on.
No,
here.
They don't know. They don't know. This is another Britney Spears, Amanda Bynes, you know, Demi Lovato, all the ones that go through mental health issues.
Yeah, you know, it's so interesting now.
Chastised.
It's so interesting now, like looking back on all those different episodes that happened with those, I guess, celebrities and such. Now, in hindsight, my views on those have completely changed. At the time, I would have been like, yo, this person's nuts. They're wacko. What's
they're
wrong?
crazy.
This one's crazy. This one's crazy wacko, you know? And now I'm more like, No, like the amount of pressure that person's under. Like, I mean, the amount of, like, Britney Spears, come on, she was feeding everybody in her family from the time she was 16.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Britney Spears didn't shave her head because she didn't like her hair.
Yeah. You know, like, let's be real here. Like, I mean, the amount of pressure that woman was under, like, that's, oh, man.
Yeah.
That's.
Amanda Bynes, like, she was a beloved child star, and like, you know what I mean? She grew up and things happen. Like, you lose it, and because of the stressors in your life, and they're on such a platform that everybody's seeing them have a breakdown. Mm-hmm. It's being memorialized. It's being memed. It's, you know, it's there for everyone to see, but everybody doesn't understand mental health.
Yeah.
So they're only seeing a part of it. They're only seeing the crazy stuff. They're not realizing it's, I don't know. It's just, my heart really goes out to him and his family, and with everything.
Let's erase the stigma. That's it.
Yeah. Let's try to erase the stigma. Let's try to erase the stigma. This is something that we should be all just outraged about. And I mean real outrage, not some of the fake outrage that's been going on in the media in the last little while. Like, we should really be outraged about what's going on with Kanye, but not the fake outrage that's been going on in the media. I'm guilty.
Yeah, you are.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
I see that H&M bag right beside you there.
Listen, I needed a white blazer. You know, May 30th is coming up. My launch, Empowering Women to Succeed. I'm plugging it. I might as well.
Yeah, plug it.
Plug away.
It's gonna be
it on my show.
It's gonna be the following. I don't know by the time we release this.
By the time we release this, yeah, it'll be like the following week. So I'm really excited about it. I bought a cute new outfit, and I went to H&M and I did that.
Oh my goodness.
I said in the previous episode, our coolest monkey in the jungle and Me Too. If you want to listen to it, just head back onto our website. You could hear that. I said I never said I wasn't gonna shop there again.
Okay.
I never said that I wasn't going to shop there again, because I don't appreciate fake outrage. I don't appreciate this, like, when something happens and it's in the spotlight, it gets its 15 minutes of fame. Everyone pretends like they're going to make some huge change in their lives to accommodate whatever movement or whatever injustice they think is going on in the world. And then nothing changes. Like 10 minutes later, 5 minutes later to equal 15. It's their minds are.
Are you not taking into consideration? There's like what 7 billion people in the world.
Maybe something like that.
Okay, let's say
I don't know the world
7 billion.
population.
And then now you're looking at, and you're taking into consideration. You're not taking into consideration that there's what, maybe like 5, maybe 10 million people that are active on social media that are creating this. Windstorm, firestorm of attention to people that are on social media. Like, I mean, if you ask my mother about Me Too, my mother's gonna look at you. What is Me Too?
Yeah, my mom would do the same.
What is Me Too? Like, Me Too? Yeah, you want something? Yeah, Me Too. That's what my mother would say. Like, you know, that and it wouldn't be in any kind of disrespectful way. It'd just be like, what is Me Too? You know,
because she's not necessarily in that social media world,
right?
But in that world, we know the Me Too movement was sensationalized, and that was my biggest concern.
I'm gonna let you go off on that ledge over there.
I'm gonna say what I have to say. I'm not dancing.
I'm letting you stay over there. Dance by yourself.
I'll dance by myself. You don't have to make a comment. But I feel this is how I felt before, and this is how I feel now. The whole situation at the time was sensationalized, and you know, the movement, I feel like maybe it got away with itself because we're not hearing about it anymore. But rape is still happening. Like, it happens every single day. So I'm just like, and sexual harassment is still happening every single day. So where did the movement go? Where did the celebrities go? Where did all the people that were outraged go?
I'd like to, I guess, trump what you're saying by saying that I've had the opportunity to work in, I think, about 4 different offices this year so far, maybe 5, and in 3 of them they had brought out new sexual harassment policies while I was working through those offices. I didn't have to deal with them, but I mean they did bring out new policies. I don't know what they entailed, but employers are doing something.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, there was enough of the quote unquote fake outrage for there to be a voice
to incite some kind of
change. And at the end of the day, I mean, the cool thing is that, you know, millennials and younger are the ones that are in the workforce now, and they're on social media, and if they want something, they can incite change. And so if you as an organization want to have these millennials work for your company, and you want your company to, you know, stand the test of time, you got to do something.
That's true.
You got to make these environments comfortable for, you know, young women and even young men. You have to set a tone,
a standard,
and I think there's a lot of companies that are doing it, and a lot of them aren't trying to put their hands up and say, yeah, we're doing this now, and they're just doing it, which I think is a better way of going about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think you need to have your hand up saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. No, just
look what I'm doing.
Just get it done. Make sure that type of stuff doesn't happen in your organization. I think you'd be cool. So even though it's not, you know, on social media anymore, I mean, maybe it's lost its 50 minutes of fame, I think it did do something. I think, you know, I'm seeing some people people are more conscious and people are more aware. So,
I mean, I'm not saying that it didn't bring awareness. Please don't get me wrong. It absolutely did, because it was on such a large platform. And it's not just Me Too. It's just, I think anything that's sometimes on social media that is made a big deal of, and then it seems to disappear. Like, it seems people are outraged by it, and then it just disappears.
It's such a small number of people though that are really affected by social media. It's not that big of a thing.
Like
on the grand scheme, it's not that, like, there's still room for growth. That's why these companies are making so much money in their IPOs. There's still growth. Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. We got some. If you want to have awareness, you gotta kind of kick it old school a little bit. You know, you gotta get out there and, you know, campaign. You know, get out there and speak to school children and that kind of stuff.
I think people have fake outrage when it comes to poverty too.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
if we're gonna go outside of, like,
Absolutely.
let's go outside of the social media stuff and celebrity stuff and media stuff, but like things like poverty. Like, we see what's going on around the world, and I think I can't remember the statistic, but North America takes up quite a bit of the world's resources compared to what we export
or actually need.
But then we want to show commercials of starving children in Africa, or starving children in the Philippines, or starving children in China that need aid, and we look at it. And there are those that will watch it, and then there are those that will change the channel.
Well, because you got some people that are like, you know what? Give them birth control. Tell them to stop fucking. You know, like, you got, you know, no,
keep your legs closed.
No, but then, you know, sex is the poor man's gold. I was told that by someone. I don't know who it was. I don't know.
That's funny.
But that was a quote.
It was a lime seed. Sorry.
You're ridiculous. You just threw a lemon seed across the room.
I just threw a lemon. Listen, I do weird shit, okay? I do weird, stupid stuff sometimes. I didn't mean to distract you from your point.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know where I was going with that. But
birth control.
Well, you got some people that are just pissed off that, you know, like, use of birth control, you know, and they're just like, I'm not going to pay for that. You know, because you're not using birth control, I'm not going to pay for that. Or there's some people that are just like, no, you have to help your fellow man. And you know what? No matter what the situation is, we are all human and we are all of one, and we need to, you know, help each other out. And then you also got people that are like, well, when I give $1 here, only 10 cents gets there. So what's the point of me giving it? You know, and there's so many,
and then there's
some justifications.
There's that third sect of people, the desperate housewives, that throw those, like, charity events that are just little wine and hors d'oeuvres and fashion.
Hey, man,
and then they donate to their charities of choice.
I'm not gonna hate. Those things got me through school.
I know, you're catering gigs.
I'm not gonna.
But do you know what I mean? It's fake
those.
outrage, though. You know it's fake outrage. Like,
it's the topic of the month.
It's just like, yeah, it's just because they don't have water cooler conversations. They have champagne. They have champagne conversations.
Hey, I got introduced to Veuve Clique. Yeah.
Veuve Clique. I don't even know what that is.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not there yet. I'm not ready for it. But yeah, like, it bothers me because when I'm outraged for real usually. Like when I'm outraged, the only thing that probably gets my goat is anything that has to do with mental health and suffering. Like other than that, nothing else could probably outrage me. Anything that has to do with mental health and people with mental health suffering. Yeah. I'm working towards like actually putting, I guess you want to say, put your money where your mouth is. I don't have any money, so I'm not putting my money where my mouth is, but I'm putting my time where my mouth is, by doing my my facilitation group on mental health. That's coming up in June, actually. I'm a little nervous about it, but like I want to give back, start speaking. And
so what's going on with OnikaDainty.com then, that you're, what's up there?
What's up on OnikaDainty.com?
Yeah, like what are you doing towards, helping yourself become that advocate? Like, what are you putting more material up there? Like,
like more material, more stuff from, when I wasn't well, so people could see, that same thing that I was talking about, that rapid cycling stuff that I was doing, just like my creative side. And I'm hoping that one day it's going to be a place where people can go to and tell me their mental health stories and share with me, what they're going through. So just building and developing, obviously with the help of my awesome cousin J.R.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to big you up for a second. I never usually do. So yeah, but between his tech brain and my creative brain, don't worry, we'll come up with something.
Okay. Well, you were talking about poverty, and with poverty here in Canada, I feel like we kind of just push people away into a corner, but the corner's in the middle of a really nice room. And you look like you have a big.
I have a big story in my mouth right now.
Okay, but I just feel like unlike, I know, like when I've been in the U.S. and like I've when I see poverty, it's like the poverty is like, no, this is poverty neighborhood and that's wealthy, and it's like, but here
it's divided.
It's divided, like, but here it's all blended in. Like sometimes you don't even know. Like, and I don't know. We hear about things sometimes, like it's election time now, like with the provincial election. So you're hearing things about
fake
poverty
outrage.
Now. You're hearing poverty now. People talking about poverty, but I mean, like, okay, well, like I'm neither on neither side of the political landscape. I'm not a liberal, not a conservative. So I'm just gonna say, like, for the past 10 years, you've had a liberal, or 15 years, you've had a liberal government in, and now all of a sudden at the end of this term, they're throwing a lot of money towards healthcare, mental health, and minimum wage, poverty, right? All that stuff. Mm-hmm. Where were they before? But at the same time, the conservative government, what are they really going to do when it comes to poverty? Like, are they going to hand out blankets? Like, what are they going to do? Like, I don't know.
Here's a very conservative.
I feel like it. Sorry, I just finished this thought. Sorry, I feel like poverty is just useful in times of election time. Here's
just an example of, for me, this is one of the first I could think of fake outrage. It happened in Pickering, Ontario. There was a homeless man that wandered into our small town of Pickering. It was a town at the time, and he was panhandling. And
they allow that there?
Oh, wait for it. He was panhandling on the street. Someone reported it to City Hall. And my girlfriend's mother worked at City Hall, so that's where I heard this story. So a representative from City Hall approached the man and said, "I'm sorry, you can't panhandle in Pickering. We don't have homeless people in Pickering. There's no poverty here," basically, is what his gist was. And so he goes, "Well, I'm trying to get back to Toronto. What do you want me to do?" So he dropped them off, like, on the border. Like, he gave him a taxi money to be dropped off on the border.
Oh my goodness.
Of Pickering and Scarborough, like Rochelle.
Yeah,
like right on that border.
Wow.
So they were that was to me, that was an example of fake outrage, because it's like, I'm so sad that you're poor. However, you cannot stay here. Like,
you don't have to go home, but you gotta
get the hell out of here. Like, fake outrage. And it's been happening. It's always happened. And you're right, it is used for a political platform. I think the most fakest / outrageous are in the political realm. Like when it comes to that, getting that position, they'll go at anything. They'll be outraged at the way teachers are teaching kids in schools. Like,
you know, whatever the constituents want is whatever they do. That's it. So if the constituents today decide that they don't want kids to have lunch anymore in school, lunch is bad for the children. Mm-hmm. It is disrupting their education. They are not getting enough exercise because they are eating lunch, and we are outraged.
You know, and it's the shade for me. It's the shade behind the shade that you got to really look at, because where is this fake outrage coming from? Like, what's the realness behind it?
Oh my gosh.
Like, do you know what I mean?
It's like, you know what? The bread company is no longer subsidizing bread. Mm-hmm. Therefore, we cannot have bread in the lunchroom because it costs too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to end lunch and take the rest of the money that we would have used for lunch, and we're going to throw that into, I don't know, something.
Whatever. Gym balls. Gym balls. Basketballs. I meant basketballs, but gym balls works. No, but that's the shade behind the shade.
Yeah.
When it comes to fake outrage, there's always shade behind the shade. Like, people are interesting. Like, I will always try to keep it real when it comes to the things that I believe in. Except
when you go against H&M.
Listen, I needed a size 14 blazer, dude, and they're the only ones that had one at a reasonable price. So you know what?
So you're okay with the coolest monkey in the gym then?
No, I never said I was cool with it. I still gave H&M a slap on the wrist for it, but I never said that I wouldn't shop there again, because I, like many people in the world, can be fucking fickle. So I keep it real at all times. Self-awareness, which is what I think Kanye is searching for. You know what I mean? Going back to that for a second, he's searching for something, and I'm not sure he's looking for it in the exact right place, but I'm hoping that someone will direct him to the nearest psychiatric ward, because you know where he can get some treatment.
A lot of the things he said, like, I can understand where he was going. They make sense. They all make sense. It's just that,
but not on that platform.
Not on, like, if, like, the whole. I hate we already covered this, but the whole, remember, slavery was a choice.
It was a choice.
Like, here's the thing. If he was sitting at a table with all his black friends, and you ask the question on the lines of, yo, if back in slavery, what do you think you would have done? You think you would have run, or you think you would have stayed?
Or would you have jumped off the Amistad?
Yeah, you know, like, ask the question.
I would have run.
In that, if you ask the question in that format, in that safe group, it would have been a different kind of conversation.
A different conversation, but not on that platform and not in that mind state. So, but yeah, with that said, that has been the dish of the day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been interesting, you know, examining a celebrity. I don't think we've ever done that before, and
I don't really want to do it again.
I don't want to do it again, but you know, Kanye gave us some good material, so you know what? I still appreciate him. But as I said, that has been the dish of the day. If you have any comments for us about what we said about Mr. West, or if you want to share your own story of fake outrage, anything that you know of, you've heard of, we'd love to hear from you. Please, JR, tell them how they can reach us.
Yeah, you can reach us at Dysh, DYSH, at DaintyDysh.com. That's DaintyDysh.com. You can also check out Onika on OnikaDainty.com. What's going on there? Or we talked about that. We talked about that
earlier.
I'm just like routine.
Go, guys. Just go to OnikaDainty.com and like just check it out. That's all you need to know. Like, really.
Yeah, there's some good stuff.
All you need to know. There's some good stuff.
Yeah, some good stuff on there. And we finally got some pictures to go along with everything.
I know, some visuals of that cue card. Whatever. I did the best I could without you.
And now you can check us out on Instagram. You can check Onika out at Best of Onika, and you can check me out at Best of JR. You can check out a picture of Onika's cat on my Instagram,
because he's taking all the fame and I'm taking all the feces.
That's pretty much how it's gonna work.
Yeah, all the fame and all the feces.
So if you're listening to us on Apple Podcast,
Give us a 5. We deserve a 5.
And we thank you so much for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Please subscribe and, listen to us. We appreciate the feedback. If you're listening to us on any other platform, please continue to listen there. And feedback is greatly appreciated. Otis is now sitting on the table, so he's here with us. And he says...
Meow.
That's it for me.
Well... all y'all out there, just pray that Onika gets some sleep tonight or Oliver Otis is going to get a spritz. But with that said, I hope you guys have a very, very happy hump day.